make sure that we empower you with that information. So again, I've landed in T Encompass. I go to my educator profile. We have talked about self-assessing. So now I'm curious about my licensure information. So it's hiding here behind evaluations. So notice here for Miss Mary, I have everything pertaining to her license. I have her effective date, which is August of 2011. And then I see that her license is currently expired. It expired in August of 2016. If I click here on details, I think this will be important for folks who are working on several versions of their license or who have, who've renewed a couple of times. So you'll see the issue date, the effective date, your renewal date where applicable, and then all of your endorsements. Go in there, please check your endorsements, please check all of that and make sure that it's right. And there's a way to fix it if it's not. So just make sure that everything in here is right. I can see anything that pertains to the licensure policy, so my degree, where I went to school, and then finally we're down here to PDPs. So as Shannon said earlier, the licensure policy changed in 2015. It's no longer sign a sheet of paper and voila, you have a license. You now have to show evidence of professional learning in order to advance or renew. You have to show evidence of 30 hours of professional learning to advance an apprentice or practitioner license, and you have to show 60 hours of professional learning to renew a professional license. So Miss Mary here is operating on an apprentice teacher license. So in order to, assuming this were still active, she would have to show evidence of 30 PDPs to advance her license. So there are a couple of ways to get PDPs. One, you can get them from your evaluations. You get 10 points if you're a 3, 15 if you're a 4, and 20 if you're a 5. So what I tell educators all the time is, if you are effective 3 years in a row, you get your 10 points each year at a 3, you can advance your license, no problem. If you have a professional license and you're effective 6 years in a row, right, and you maintain a 3, you can renew your license, no problem. So these policies are designed to work together, right, that if you maintain a solid eval score, you should be able to advance or renew your license within the time of its issue date. If that is not the route that you want to take, or you want to go another way to get PDPs, you can also upload any kind of training, graduate coursework, or national board certification that you've received. So notice here, Ms. Mary's uploaded maybe 4 different pieces of training. And I'll just let you know, it's got to be stuff related to educator effectiveness, right? The policy specifically lists stuff like bloodborne pathogens and suicide prevention, CPR training. Unfortunately, that will not be approved just because it does not relate back to that direct instruction in improving educator effectiveness. So what she's done here, she has inputted some training that she went to. She took some graduate courses, and she has her national board certification. So she uploaded all of that to the system. Team training does not count. I'm sorry.
So if my license expires in 2025, everything I'm doing from the issue date up to 2025 counts.
Exactly, yes. And that's why you got to go up here to your details, and your issue date will show here. The issue date actually, or the renewal date, right? Because the renewal date is what will show. It's not going to show on your original page. So in Mary's case, she can upload anything from August of 2011 through August of 2016. The way you add PDPs, your evaluations upload automatically. So for once in our lives, these systems talk to each other, and your evaluation points will magically appear on your licensure page. Everything else, you're just going to go to Add PDPs, that button at the top right, and then select the option and follow the prompts from there. One thing that we're seeing is teachers are not uploading certificates of attendance. So unfortunately, you got to download that stuff from SchoolNet, and you got to upload it to your account. You can't just say that you went, unfortunately. You got to show that certificate. If you went to a conference, upload a certificate of completion.
And one thing that we've noticed in SchoolNet, and it's taken us a while, so you know those really awesome evaluations of PD that are in there. So if you print out your transcript, a date of completion doesn't populate on your transcript until you fill out the evaluation of the professional learning. So we're getting lots of SchoolNet transcripts with no dates of completion, and it's because they're not doing the evaluations of the PD. Is it too late to do that? No! You can still get in there and click the air was comfortable, temperature, in or smiled, and then be done with it. So, though, but if you want a date to populate, make sure that that's completed in there. And like Anna said this morning, I was in the PDP queue because HR is approving the PDP points, and I had to deny probably 30 people who had no attachments. It's insufficient documentation, so you've got to make sure there's documentation there.
And another thing I'll say too, if you're ahead of the game and you've already input stuff, it does go to a queue that HR approves, and just to be transparent, HR is prioritizing people whose license is expiring. So if your license doesn't expire for 5 years from now, unfortunately, you might be one of the last to get your PDPs approved. Okay, so I'm headed back to my evaluation page, or my educator profile. Notice these things go in order. You do your evaluation. In the next tab, you have your license stuff, and you upload your PDPs. The time has come. Your license is expiring. It is now time to advance or renew. So you're going to go to that transaction tab. And again, this is pretty intuitive. You're just going to click Start a New Transaction at the top, and that lets you know everything you can do. So if you're playing around and you discover, my master's degree is not on Team Compass, you can add that here. You can advance your license. You can add your national board certification. You can renew your license. So basically anything that has to do with changing your license in any way happens on the transaction tab. Questions? Yes?
So if your license expires in 2020, when should you start pressing the advance button?
Good question. One, I think the first step is, when should I start uploading my PDPs? And I would say as you go to stuff, and I'll just make a point of that too, if and when or how or however you leave this district, when you leave, your SchoolNet account dies with you.
Yeah.
So if you go to another district, if you go to another state, and you have to show evidence of professional learning, you're going to have to come back, wait on us for 5 years to pull your stuff right in the annals of wherever SchoolNet is. If you are uploading it all along, you'll be able to take that with you and have that evidence, no sweat. So that's the first thing I'll say. In terms of when should you start to press the advance or renew, it really depends on the years of experience you have and the amount of PDPs. So as soon as you have 3 years of experience and 30 PDPs, no matter when your license expires, you can go ahead and apply to advance. So really, as soon as you meet the minimum requirements, I would do it.
And the only time that you'll get an email from the Department of Education or HR is when it's going to expire. So in terms of kind of the advancement of the license, you kind of have to monitor that yourself. You'll only know from somebody if it's going to expire.
Okay, when you get this, okay, yeah, when you get these slides, we have some overviews of everything we've discussed. I think I went through and showed you everything. These are the purpose of the 4 tabs.